And almost every day, I feature a young person who is a member of PragerU, what we call Prager Force. And I would say that nothing I do in the course of the year gives people more hope than my interviews, my dialogues with these young people. In this case, Tori Kimball, she's a member of Prager Force. She's been for 8 years, since middle school, when she watched the PragerU video while writing her English final on why capitalism is moral. They hate us for that. The idea that we would actually have a video on the morality of capitalism. And you know why they don't like capitalism? You know why they don't like a video on the morality of capitalism? Because students may find out the following truth. Only capitalism lifts people from poverty. The reason there is less poverty by far on earth today is only because of capitalism. Everything the left believes is wrong, is morally wrong, factually wrong. It is a sick, bad world. They don't care about the poor. They care about the poor like Lenin cared about workers. So they hate us for telling the truth that capitalism is moral. Because of PragerU, she found TPUSA, where she's worked for the past 5 years. TPUSA and PragerU are allies in trying to save this country with its youth. She hosted Will Witt twice, Amala Punobi as speakers on her school campuses. When she came back from her 18-month mission in Chicago, she used PragerU videos to catch up on everything she missed. And she's now studying public relations and civic engagement leadership at Brigham Young University. Tori, it's a pleasure to meet you. Are you in Utah right now?
I'm not. I'm actually interning in Washington, D.C. right now.
Oh, my God. You are a hero. How old are you?
I'm 21.
And is this graduate work or undergraduate work you're doing?
This is undergraduate work.
And what does it mean that 18 months you were out of commission? What happened during those 18 months?
Yeah, so I'm a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and we have an amazing missionary program, which we sign up for girls, it's 18 months, for the guys, it's 2 years, and we leave school, work, all of it, politics, to go somewhere that we're assigned to, speak a language that we're assigned, and we help people learn more about Jesus Christ. We help in the community, and it was the best 18 months for me in Chicago.
You know, when I speak to Mormons, if I may say the word, I interchange it with LDS because a lot of people know the word Mormon much better. I know the whole issue in your church. I know it really well. But anyway, when I speak to them, and I will often say, so even, people in middle age, people in their 50s, and I'll say, so did you go on mission? I go, yeah. And then I'll go, where? And when they tell me a place like Chicago, I go, it probably would have been easier in Uruguay.
That's probably true.
Any major metropolitan U.S. city has to be such a challenge. I am always curious, did you make any converts?
Yes, I had a good amount. The Lord was good to me, and I found some really awesome friends who decided to change their lives.
Fascinating. All right, we'll be back in a moment. We'll obviously talk about you and PragerU. It's a delight to meet you. Folks, please, we're doing really, really important work. A 21-year-old young woman who is a member of Prager Force. And if you could see her on video, you'll see the wide-eyed enthusiasm of this young woman. So how did you discover PragerU? Was that, you were in middle school, obviously. How did that happen?
I had an amazing 8th grade English teacher who had us write an argumentative essay for our final paper, and she said we could write whatever we wanted. And I'm not really sure, but I wanted to write my paper on capitalism. And so I went to the internet, as a little middle schooler does, and tries to find videos because that's the best way to research, right? And I came across Arthur Brooks' video on why capitalism is moral. And I absolutely loved it. And I loved the idea that it was 5 minutes. And I kind of found myself in a rabbit hole. And I just kept watching PragerU videos. And ever since then, I've been hooked. I've been watching them, since I was in middle school in 8th grade.
I wonder if one Googled exactly what you Googled then, if one Googled that today, would do you know, would the PragerU video come up?
Oh, I'm sure it wouldn't.
Well, let me ask Alan Estrin, do you think it would come up? What do you remember? I don't think you would, but basically, what did you Google? Is capitalism moral? What did you Google?
I probably Googled, why is capitalism a good thing? Something like that.
So let's do that test. I am curious if we're buried on a Google search or not. So you discovered us, and then you kept watching PragerU videos.
I did.
Did you ever think you'd be on with me?
No, I did never think that.
It has to be a very funny journey from your Prager video to Prager.
Yes, for sure.
Well, this is a joy for me. So you then joined TPUSA, is that correct?
I did.
Which Charlie Kirk and I are quite close. And now you are at BYU. I'm going to ask you a tough question here.
Okay.
And it's pure curiosity. There is no agenda except hope. Is there any danger of at least parts of BYU going woke, or is it pretty immune?
I think it's definitely a problem. It's what we see across the country when people tend to walk away from values that we've had for so long. I'm lucky to go to BYU where values are very upfront. But when people walk away from their values, and that includes administrators or professors, then there's always a chance of going woke. And we're seeing it at BYU, not as much as we see on other campuses, but it's definitely still a problem.
Yeah, look, your answer doesn't surprise me, which is why I asked the question. I mean, I remember speaking at Christian seminaries, I won't say the names, it's not important right now, that were so traditional in their Judeo-Christian values, in their Christian values, and now they're almost indistinguishable from any university in terms of wokeness. It's very hard to resist what society says. When society says X is Y, people start saying X is Y. I have no doubt, you plan on getting married?
Yes, for sure.
And so in LDS, in the Mormon Church, what is the average age of marriage today? Would you say 25?
It's about there. I know it's risen in the past few years, but it's definitely younger than most.
And how long will you be at BYU now getting your degree?
I have about 3 semesters left.
And what degree will that be?
That will be in public relations with a minor in civic engagement leadership.
What do you hope to do?
If I could have my dream job, it would be honestly doing something along these lines in helping young Americans learn how to love their country and helping do messaging that accomplishes that. If that doesn't work out, I want to help people who are campaigning to run good campaigns that actively promote messages that help people love America.
I am curious, by the way, do you know that Governor DeSantis and the state of Florida has now allowed schools to use PragerU materials?
I do know that.
How do you know that? I'm very curious.
Because I follow PragerU on social media, but also I still follow Will Witt, and he wrote about it in the Florida Standard.
Yeah, we're very close to Will. I wrote the foreword to his book that's coming out. It's a lot of good people, and you're one of them. So I'm going to ask you 2 questions, and both put you somewhat on the spot. One more than the other. But I'm curious, and if there's no answer, there's no answer. Do you have a favorite PragerU video?
It's really hard to pick one. I I would probably say I'm more partial to my original video, Why Capitalism is Moral by Arthur Brooks. But I also recently loved Tim Pool's on like working hard and continuing to
Yeah,
work. I really enjoyed
his
that
graduation address. It was
Yes.
probably better than any graduation address given in the country.
one. Yes, probably.
Yes, I agree. Well, and the other one is take 30 seconds, and from your perspective, why people should donate to PragerU.
I think people should donate to PragerU because there really is no other organization that is helping young people to not only just have an opinion, there's lots of news media outlets that are going to help you and try to tell you what you should believe. But PragerU actively helps students know the why behind opinions and allows for different nuances. It also helps to just educate kids, which we're not seeing a lot of education even in our education system. They're fighting against censorship. They're fighting to get better curriculum in schools. And having had PragerU in most of my academic career, I know what a big blessing it's been. And so you need to donate in order to keep it going.
I'm very optimistic for your future.
Thank you.
Tori, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure indeed. Okay. They always say it better than I do.